to Natural Habitat Adventures, Daily Dose of Nature. I'm your host, Sunny Vanderstar. Today's topic is India, Nepal, and Bhutan, a fusion of adventures. And it will be presented by our fabulous NatHab expedition leader, Arpita Dutta. Arpita, this looks like an incredible blend of adventures. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say, and I really, really wish I could join you in all these places. They're just magical, magical lands to visit. So let's just go ahead and dive right in.
Thank you so much, Sunny. You are most welcome. I have been telling you for such a long time that be here, be my like family, not even guest, be my family, and just travel around with me. It's gonna be amazing. Especially we have to go to Bhutan together. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And it's been always a pleasure to share all these expeditions, all these adventures, whatever I feel, I see, and something what I haven't even gone through, but I get a chance or the opportunity to share with you all. So thank you once again. So here, while doing trips for like from 2018, I think many guests we have this itinerary since pretty long, and many of the guests keep on coming that okay, if we have done Nepal, do you think that it's worth enough to go to India to get to see the animals right there? And every time I say that all these trips are stitched, like tailor stitched in that way that you always find something different and precious in each and every one. So it's nothing that we cannot combine it together. And when this thing comes on, I feel that even like whenever I think of traveling to some place, I keep on looking at other areas that if I'm visiting there, then what are the other animals or species I would like to see which are nearby so that I can go, go there and do the things at one go. And obviously, making like travel plans takes a long time. I mean, sometimes it takes years till the time we execute our plan. And so especially we need to, when you are traveling to Southeast Asia, imagine all the way from the west to the eastern part of the world. Why not you combine few of the trips together so that you can save some like time or the replan that you have to again plan for the next trip, or you can just save some more budget of the airfares and the traveling, and of course the itinerary, how you go through. But definitely thinking of that, NHA has taken the responsibility to present you the best adventure itinerary like for all the important destination in the world. That's true. And keeping that aspects in mind, including conservation and sustainability, like sustainable traveling is also in the mind. So as I have like mentioned in just quite a few webinars back, that it's all about not only about traveling, it's all about conservation as well. So while traveling, imagine if you can combine few of the adventure, that would have been really great. Just we need some more time from you. So I would be talking about three itineraries or three destinations today, which you can combine and or mix match between the three. So everything starts from Delhi. So if you're visiting India, so from Delhi is the capital, and from Delhi you can go to the snow leopard, which is for the farther northern part of it, the Trans-Himalayan area here, and then you can come back to Delhi, and then you can go to central India for our Grand India adventure, which starts from here. And also from Delhi, you can go to Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal. And from there, you can start our Nepal-Bhutan trip. So imagine one destination, you just need to land and then you can visit several places or several adventure destinations. So first, without taking more time, first we will go to the land of like snow leopards. Of course, it's like a dream to see it. And the habitat out there, which is the northern part of India, and it's very rugged and rather it doesn't have much trees or greenery around, but the landscape of this Trans-Himalayan area is extraordinary. It's a breathtaking view in its own way, the dry and all these mountains and rock, snow-covered area. So mostly we visit in this area where my cursor is in Ule, where you see here, in these areas. And it's just the Indus River has like Indus River is also there. So once you visit there, you get to see a lot of things. I'll come gradually. And from there, our snow leopard expedition starts. From Delhi, we fly to Leh, and from there we spend like a day to acclimatize with the height, because it is like the snow leopard destination is at a height of 12,000 to 14,000 feet. And this is a very remote area. As I mentioned, it's the terrain is very rugged. The temperature in winter goes down to 35 Fahrenheit, and in March to April it goes up to 60 to 70 Fahrenheit, which is cold, which is also pretty cold. And for this snow leopard expedition, you need good health, fitness, and mobility. The physical requirement is difficult. So before you plan, do a better homework on it, or you prepare yourself so that your flexibility and mobility stays on, and your fitness, and definitely it's a high altitude. So it becomes a little tougher than we think. But though, and it's just a 10 days adventure trip. So yeah, and for the snow leopard, take few seconds to find out the ghost of the mountain. If you find it, just in the chat box, write you did find it, or you can mention the area where you have found it. But for a fraction of a second, it's very difficult. Imagine this is just a picture, but when you are sitting in that kind of a region and you are looking out for the snow leopard, imagine it's a game of patience and persistence. That is very important. It doesn't give you a very cheap site that you will go and see it. And the terrain is like this during when there is no snow, and it's so difficult. And imagine being that cat, it climbs those areas or jump off that steep cliffs to hunt or for the movement with us, and they are stealthy, of course, and you would be watching them, because once you spot, and let me tell you, the guiding team has wonderful and experienced tracker. They help to increase your chances for the snow leopard. Sometimes you need to hike a bit, or maybe you need to drive to go to the location where the leopard has been spotted. So yeah, and before we move ahead, let me tell you, our last season went fabulous. Every group got to see the snow leopard. Isn't that amazing? I was so happy. And even not that, they have seen some incredible sightings of hunting down, like the blue sheep or the ibex. It was the last season was amazing, and I'm hoping the next season, which is coming ahead, would be outstanding. So what else do you see during the snow leopard expedition? Here I'm not going to talk more about the animals because we have to go a long way. So just a little overview that what you come across there. So the oriole, it's mountain goats are there, which are like the prey base for the snow leopard. And of course, when there is a prey, the predator would be around. And there would be wonderful bird life as well, especially when you are approaching towards the summertime, like February, March, you get to see a lot more birds. And this is a lammergeier, or the bearded vulture. And it says that even its poop is so acidic that it can actually melt your wrist bone. So imagine looking at a bird like that, how wonderful that would be. And you have golden eagle as well. I mean, the talons are so big, and they can actually take off the ships, the small ship, and fly from the cliff. So you can just imagine how strong they are. And we have the Himalayan or the Tibetan wolf you might come across, and then the red fox, which is the same, which is from the same genus, but a different subspecies, which you get to see in Northern America as well. And this is the wolf. How cute it's looking! Imagine, I mean, looking through it, it's really magical, isn't it? Like snowing, and then you see them moving around for their hunting period, or for the courtship, for their communication. And the canids are definitely a very good communicator as well. And you have some smaller animals, which is the Himalayan marmot. It mostly stays in the alpine grassland, and it's come out mostly in summer after the hibernation, and very active in the morning. And they are very colonial kinds. So if you get to see one, you might get to see a few more in that same area. This is the Himalayan weasel, a carnivore. And here you have the ibex. Look at the horn here. And they can climb on those cliffs. I think looking at them itself is magnificent. That how do they even climb those steep mountain areas, and they roam around there. And over here, if you see, this is more of the summertime. So you see a lot of vegetations. You can see, though they look pretty dry, but their valley would have different types of flowers, like orange, purple, small flowers from a distance. It looks amazing. And there is a huge transformation happens from the winter time to the summer. And this is a palace cat. Good chance to see it as well. And there is another thing, which is the brown bear. It's very, very rare, though these two are very rare, but if you get to see it, it's like, it would be like a cherry on the top. I mean, snow leopard, of course, I mean, seeing that, it's so elusive. That's the reason why it's called the ghost of the mountain. But along with that, if you get to manage to see this, I think that nails it. I mean, nails the whole adventure trip. And this is how you carry on with your gears, because they sometimes are pretty far and you need good optical equipments to spot them. At our lodge, the Snow Leopard Lodge, this is specifically for us. So when we are there, there are no other guests who would be staying in the lodge. So you can use all the telescope and the cameras, whichever are there. You can actually look through it. We have beautiful, I mean, good binoculars and stuff out there. And this is the lodge, the Snow Leopard Lodge. And so we have two, and this is how it's. And one important thing, you can see how it is placed. Like everywhere there is a mountain. So there are very good chances as well that from the lodge itself, you get to see a lot of animals. And sometimes, as I say, that you might need to hike or drive to a distance from where you can get to see it. And while doing this adventure and stuff, Ladakh is beautiful place, and there are amazing local people, and their wonderful stories about the snow leopards, about the local life. So you get to experience that as well. And also you get to visit few of the monasteries out there, which are more about 12th or built in 12th or 13th centuries. So it's a packed full of adventure and some history. And in some places, you will see that in the religious place also, there Buddhism and Hinduism are like religiously followed together, and they are so peace-loving people out there. So with the snow leopard, I think what you can do is once you finish the snow leopard trip, because it's a high altitude trip, once you are done with the snow leopard, you can come back to Delhi, and from Delhi you can take a couple of days rest out there, and you can prepare yourself either for the Nepal Bhutan trip or the Grand India trip. So I'll start with the Nepal Bhutan, that how it goes is so when we travel from Delhi to Kathmandu, I mean this is I'm talking about if you are combining this trip. So if you are only doing Nepal Bhutan, you can directly fly to Kathmandu. So this is from Delhi, you have to fly to Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal. And from Kathmandu, we move to Chitwan National Park, and from there we come back to Kathmandu, and from there we fly to Paro, which is in Bhutan. And from there, after finishing all this adventure, then you can fly back via Bangkok. This is generally happens. So in Nepal, this is another historical areas. When we do the tour of the city, you would be able to see the 10th and 14th century buildings and the monasteries and temples, and it has immensely like wonderful stories, and their art and architectures both for Nepal and Bhutan. I think those are the highlights of the cultural part of these trip. And you get to learn a lot about the historical conditions of, and how the kingdoms and people have been reigning over there for such a long time. It's a beautiful combination, especially Nepal, Bhutan. It's a beautiful combination of the wildlife adventure and the cultural and spiritual trip. This particular trip I'm talking about. So after that, Nepal, Bhutan, the city tour, we moved to Chitwan National Park, which is in the south central part of Nepal, which is here. And this is a bigger picture of it. This is the Chitwan National Park, the first national park in Nepal. And this is the forest, and it has the beautiful grassland, the sal forest cover, the riverine forest, and it has a 3% of the mixed forest as well. In one word, the time I have worked there for 2.5 to 3 years, I figured out that every day I used to thank God that thank you for sending me to this heavenly beautiful forest. It's so beautiful, and the landscapes and the animals around it's all are in abundance. So of course, for a naturalist, for a conservationist, I think this kind of forest means a lot. I mean, being there, it's a privilege. So here for our Nepal Bhutan trip, the rhinos are the showstopper. And of course, we get to see, I mean, there are 90% chance are there that you will come across the greater one-horned rhino. And of course, in different ways. Over there, we do vehicle safaris and boat safari. So we have the rivers around there, so where we take the boat, and it is a very calm and quiet safari what we do there. And in Nepal, in Chitwan, there are tigers. Rather, it has a good density of tiger, but because of the habitat, it has huge grasslands, and the forest is so thick that it's very difficult to spot a tiger. But in last season, there were on and off tiger sighting happened. Then we have leopard out there. So because it's so thick, so whenever you are coming, keep your eyes at the top of the branches. You might get to see this cat as well. With that, I think in Chitwan, we have another highlighted species, which is the gharial. The most unique looking in the crocodile family with a longer snout, and it is critically endangered. This is only found in the few rivers system of Nepal and in India and nowhere else. So, and they are critically endangered. So imagine rhinos are in the vulnerable situation right now, the greater one-horned rhinos. But no, I like we are really working on it. WWF has been working on this gharial conservation for long years, and they're doing great. But still, they are so susceptible to pollutions and this climate change that the number is no matter it's still below. Below that conservation status where we can say that yeah, they are safe. So yeah, you get to see the gharial, especially during the winter time. They come out for basking, so that's a good time. And then we have the freshwater crocodile as well. Sometimes you get to see them both basking at the same area, maybe a little bit of distance, but they do that very peacefully. And Chitwan is a part where there are during the migration during winter, along with the migratory birds, the number can reaches up to like more than 750 species of birds. So again, it's an abundance area for and a haven for birders as well. Sorry. Yeah. So with that, this is another. I would say definitely another showstopper when we talk about birds is the great hornbill. Imagine in the thick forest with a huge canopy, when you get to hear the call like paw, paw, it resonates the sound, and the forest seems like suddenly it's awake. And when they fly over you, the sound of their wings when the wind passes is like whoo, 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 and you feel that. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, talking to you when I'm explaining, I could really feel I'm having like I'm just remembering the sightings, or just it's a wonderful feeling altogether. And yeah, with that, you get to meet one of the oldest tribe in Nepal, who are thriving in Chitwan National Park, is the Tharu. And you get a chance to meet and to see how they are living, because we do a small village visit by walking or by vehicle, and it's a wonderful opportunity to see that still how these people, where the world has reached in such a techno area, technology, but they are still very much into the old process which their generations back have been doing. And we get to see and we get to learn a lot of thing about biodiversity from them, from especially from the elderly people out there. And from Nepal, we fly to Bhutan, to Paro here, and mostly we remain in this area of Bhutan. And as I mentioned that Bhutan, it's more about the adventure, like hiking, the spiritual part, and of course a lot of scenic beauty out there. And this is airport. Imagine if the airport is like that, how the country would be. It's one of the beautiful airport, at least I have come across, though I haven't traveled the world around yet. But most of the people, most of our guests has mentioned that they have seen the most beautiful airport here. And from there, and Bhutan is a place, once you step in, you will feel that it's completely a different country altogether. It's so clean, it's so beautiful, and so calm and quiet. There is no like crowd, there is no rush, you don't see traffics. People are so helpful and courteous. It feels amazing. And also the first country to be called carbon negative country. So that's another plus point of Bhutan. It's the government has mentioned that the forest coverage cannot get down below 60%. And right now, Bhutan is covered with forest, which is 70%, even 10% more than the government has given the margin. So that's the beauty of the place. And Once we enter Bhutan, you again, like Nepal, Bhutan has a huge cultural aspects. Their art, crafts, their and their way through it, like how they pursue that, their dance forms and everything. It's so unique. Even when we are talking about the technology, imagine in 1999 only, Bhutan got its first television. So you can imagine everything was more people oriented. There were no like telephones and stuff, no smartphones, no internet. So it's like a different world. People are now very much used to with the things, but still they know how to keep their country's emblem or country's values with them. Once you go there, you would understand more about. So we get to see a lot of monasteries, we tie prayer flags, and we go to their market, and they love chilies. I mean, even like over 12,500 tons of chilies get, still they export chilies from outside. So you can imagine how much they're in love with chilies. But don't worry, when you are ordering your food, those will be the hotness or the things would be very much minimal. They will neutralize that. And once we go there, we go to Taking Sanctuary. This is the national animal of Bhutan. That's the only sanctuary we go for the wildlife, and you get to see some some barking deer as well. But it happens that most of the time you get to see Taking, and that's the only wildlife area. Why I'm telling, because Bhutan is more about the culture, heritage, and all those hikes. You know, it's all about the adventure which needs your physical activity out there. So Nepal is more about wildlife. Bhutan is all about the spiritual enlightenment. It's nothing about the religious part, but being there actually gives you a lot of time to spend time with yourself. That's very important in that trip. And this is the area when we do our hikes. So we go through we go through villages and in between the mountains and forest. So it's definitely gives you all the essence of the country. So you see a lot of people doing their day-to-day work, and you actually gather a lot of information by just seeing them, by talking to them. And the people, as I mentioned, the people are amazing. So here you see how we are moving out for the trekking, and we do 3 hikes. The first one is a small hike of 45 minutes to 1 hour, and the next one it takes another 2.5 hours depending on your. But there, the best part about all this hiking and trekking is we really don't want you to go move fast or with the group. You can come with your own pace. Just you take your own time, because that's how it has been designed. And then we visit a lot of zong, which is like the monasteries and the temples. And each and every place is so unique that you feel really great. And of course, the local guide Dorji, he's an amazing gentleman. He takes a lot of care that to explain the historical things about all the zongs and the monasteries and kingdom. And the last one, but not the least, and I think this is the highlight of the Bhutan trip, is the hiking to the tiger nest. And it is situated around 3,100 meter, which is near about 10,000 feet. Don't worry, you don't need to climb 10,000 feet. We will be in Paro, where we are going to stay. And from there, we need to hike, which can be of 4 to 5 hours of hike. But still, we have the full day. So if you need some more time to reach that steep, because there is some steep climbing in between, so if you need some time, it's absolutely fine. There is no hurry, no rush. You can get along with the other, because there are so many people who would be walking that you will be never alone. But you don't have to go with the group, with the speed. because everybody has their different speed. So you can just go by your own speed for all the hikes. Why I'm saying this repeatedly, because I mean, when you just stand at the bottom and when you look at Takstan, it's just a small white dot, and it looks very scary that how would you reach there? But trust me, the time you reach there, it's like I mean, when you just, you can see here, we have already started, and here is Takstan at the top. So you have to climb all the way through the mountain to be here. And so it looks scary, but once you reach there, and the walk is so pleasant, and we go through beautiful forest patches that it never like tires you. So, and once you've done Takstan, I think you feel great, you feel amazing that you have done it, and it's going to be really beautiful. Yes, with that, Nepal, Bhutan, we end up our trip there. We fly, we go from Paro, we fly to Bangkok. Of course, I fly back to Delhi. And from there, you can start off. And now, if you are doing snow leopard and Bhutan, then you fly from Bangkok. But now, if you are doing Nepal, Bhutan, and then if you want to do Grand India, like Grand India Wildlife Adventure, then you also from Paro, you fly to Delhi. And from Delhi, you can start off. The same thing, if you have done snow leopard and you want to do Grand India Wildlife, you can come from Leh, from snow leopard destination, you come down to Delhi, and from Delhi, you start your Grand India Wildlife Adventure. That can be done. So, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, the Nepal Bhutan trip is around 12 days. So that would be there. And then in Grand India Adventure, when you come down to Delhi, so this is how it goes. We come to Delhi, and from Delhi, we fly to Central India, and we visit two of the park in Central India, which is Kanha and Bandhavgarh. And from there, we fly to the eastern side, which is Kolkata. This is my place. Here I am from. And from there, we fly to the farther northeastern part of India to visit Kaziranga National Park. So this is how it looks like. And Kaziranga National Park also holds the highest number of greater one-horned rhino. And Central India has a good number of Royal Bengal tigers, which you definitely look for. And this is how it goes. So when we reach Delhi, we do a city tour and we see the government buildings, and Delhi is the place where we get to see a lot of palaces, because India has been invaded by the invaders, I mean, for so many years, and so many different invaders have done it. So they have built a lot of palaces and areas. The old Delhi, the charm of old Delhi, you will get to feel over there. This is one area. It looks like this, but it's so fun being there. You know, you get to ride on these rickshaws, and these are such a narrow lane, and we just make a joke that if anyone know how to drive in these areas, they can drive anywhere else in the world. So yeah, it's been fun watching them. That how people have been still doing amazing business from this kind of street. And the food, when we talk in Old Delhi, though we don't taste any food, but you will get the smell, and your taste buds will start sprouting that, okay, it's amazing, flavors are coming. Yeah. So every time I feel that I can be in Delhi for a few days so that I can go and dug into those food, but anyway, till date it didn't happen yet. And we visit the Jama Masjid, one of the oldest and the largest prayer field for the mosque for the Muslims. And from there we go to Gurdwara. which is a Sikh religious places. And here you would see something incredible. So this is called langar, the community kitchen. Anyone can be here, anyone can come here to have food. It doesn't matter, you don't have any religious biasness, you don't have any like who is wealthy or rich, nothing has been seen. People are equally given priorities, and they have been served food. Imagine 50,000 people eat there every day, sometimes more than that, not less. So we will visit there, see the Gurdwara from there, and know about the Sikh religion, that how without any discrimination, and they have the one of the like strongest regiment also, or they have fought every time any invaders have come. So we will learn a lot of about the cultural. So you will see a lot of cultural things out here in Delhi. And from Delhi, we go to Bandhavgarh first, one of the Central India's national park. There you get to see a lot of other different tribe, which is Gond, and here also you get to not only see them, but sometimes you get to visit their house either in Bandhavgarh or in Kanha. And of course, this we get the privilege. Rather, I should not reveal, but I think I should give you a hint that you get to experience their beautiful dance form during our stay, either in Bandhavgarh or in Kanha. We do that, and trust me, when all the rhythms and the flute are played together, it's very difficult to sit on your chair. Your legs, your heart, everything starts beating with the rhythm. And the forest is mostly covered with the sal forest, so the canopy and everything gets very thick. And over there in the winter, the forest looks more like this beautiful sunrise and sunsets you can enjoy, and definitely they are one of the best forests in India and one of the most popular forests in India. Preferably in Kanha and Bandhavgarh, they are well known for their amazing landscapes. And of course, when it comes to Central India, we cannot escape the thought of seeing this majestic cat, which is the tiger. And hopefully, during our stay in Kanha and Bandhavgarh, we will be able to spot at least one during our whole stay. But though we get really good sightings, the last season went really well. Even in the last season, whichever trips I did, almost every safari we get to see a tiger, one or two together. But so this thing happened. I hope it continues. And here we have other animals like langurs, we have jungle fowls. These are very important one because their alarm calls actually, or the distress call actually tells us that where is the predator is moving around. And we have this dhol, which is the Indian wild dog, and this is the golden jackal. And we have mongoose, this is a ruddy mongoose, and this is a civet cat. So sometimes when you are staying in your lodges, you might get to hear the tiles, or somewhere you get some noise, you know, something crawled out or running around your terrace, this kind of thing. So don't be scared. This is mostly this animal, the Asian palm civet, which moves around. This is nocturnal. So they keep on jumping from the tree to the terrace and they move around. Yep. And this is the gaur, one of the largest cattle in the bovidian family. And of course, I always say that they are like the Schwarzenegger of the forest. If you get to see them up close, their muscles are incredible. I mean, it seems like it has been sculpted so nicely that you get inspiration just by looking at them. Though I still didn't get that inspiration, which can put me some muscle instead of some fat. My fat doesn't leave me so like quickly. Anyway, and this is the hard ground swamp deer, which you get to see only in Kanha National Park, nowhere else in the world. This is endemic to over there. And of course, you'll get to see this deer, and especially during October, November, when the rutting season, the kind of call they come out, they make, it's amazing to hear. It's funny to hear actually. And yes, the elusive one, the leopard, if you get to see one, it would be amazing. Rather, you get to see tigers, but it's so difficult to see leopards in this kind of forest. And then from there, I'm sorry. There is another, I forgot to put that picture. That is another one, is a sloth bear. There are chances to see a sloth bear, but they are very rare. Okay, so from Central India's national parks, we head back to the northeastern side, which is Assam, the Kaziranga National Park. And of course, when you enter northeast from Central India, it's a complete change in habitat, because Kanha and Bandhavgarh is more similar. They're pretty similar to each other when we talk about the habitat. But the northeastern Assam, it's so different. It is more close to the rainforest area. So the vegetation, the landscapes are more like that. And yes, with that, the culture is also very different from the central India. And this is not the place, but this kind of missing village. The community people lives in this kind of houses, and the lodge we stay in, they have built up the cottages like that to keep that ethnicity in. And Assam is very well known for its tea plantation. So you will cross a lot of tea plantation area, and you will see women are working on it. And Assam is also, they have the love for music and dance. So if we are during the Bihu festival, you will see everywhere, every corner, people are, enjoying this festival by singing and dancing. And yes, as one of the largest river is Brahmaputra, and people try their main work is the fishing. And while staying at the lodge, we have a small Diffu river in front, and over there you will see people are fishing. Not many, but early in the morning you will get to see like they're doing fishing. It's just by the fishing net, or by just in small log boat, they will do that. That's a beautiful sight, the patch of forest, and if it's winter, little clouds would be there, and they are so quiet. And it's a pleasant thing to have a cup of coffee just looking at them, their activities, and the rivers. And yes, over there also we get to see the greater one-horned rhino. There are high chances, rather it never happened, that we have come back in a safari without seeing a rhino. So yes, there are high chances to get to see it, and not only see it, you get to see these rhinos in different areas, in water, in land, grazing, or just wallowing in the slushy mud to keep the flies away from their skin. So yeah, in a lot of areas. And over here, we don't have hippos, but the rhinos actually don't make us feel bad about it, because sometimes you will see like 2-3 rhinos are wallowing together in the water because they feel very, very hot. And you see these bulges out there. So all the capillaries ending are there. So when they feel very hot, they get into the water. So it cools them very quickly. And yes, with the rhinos, we have another giant, which is the Asian elephant. And if sometimes we get to see a herd of 20-21 nowadays, though it's decreasing, but still you get to see them quite often. And even at least you will get to see the wild elephant, and just be at a distance and looking at them, seeing what they're doing and stuff. It's itself like they're huge, but they're so gentle. They're calm and quiet, but yes, sometimes they do charge. But of course, you do understand, and if you maintain a distance, there is nothing to scare of. And then, of course, Kaziranga also have tiger rather. One of the highest density of tiger is there, park in India. But imagine this grass. They have elephant grassland. So it's so tall that it can sometimes hide an elephant or a rhino. So for a tiger, it's very difficult sight to come across a tiger. So when you are doing Grand India Wildlife Adventure, the tiger thing should be in central India for Kanha and Bandhavgarh. Once you reach Kaziranga, we look for the wild buffaloes, rhinos, the elephants, and other hog badger, all these animals. We can keep the tiger thought little behind, but if we get to see one, that would be incredible. And of course, we have the great Indian hornbill, great hornbill as well. And here we have another speciality in Kaziranga National Park is the, can you imagine what they're looking at? It's, we all are standing in a highway, beside the highway, and we are so gracefully looking at the hula gibbons, the one and only ape we have in India. And after the sunrise, if the family starts calling, it's mostly they are very family oriented. So you will, if you get to hear a lot, then it must be like 2-3 families are communicating between each other, especially in the morning, that they are planning their schedule out there, and they let other family know that where they are going and whereabouts. So mostly the female starts the call, and if you get to hear that, you will feel only 3 in the family can make the forest like awake. They're so loud. They're so loud. And we have the giant squirrel as well. And this is how the park inside, and we get through and we do our safaris and we get to see it. So over here, so here in Grand India, for Kanha, Bandhavgarh and Kaziranga, we only do your vehicle safaris. There is no boat safari or walking around, but we can walk around, but not inside the park. We can walk around outside the areas. And Grand India is a very fast pace trip. So every day morning we have to go out for safari, come back in the afternoon, have your lunch, take some rest, and then get ready for the afternoon drive. This is how it goes, and it becomes a routine in your life. Those 12-13 days. So of course, this is all about. And at the end, we get to see another critically endangered species, which is the Gangetic dolphin. This is a blind dolphin. And the last day in our Kaziranga National Park in the river is just to see, we go through a beautiful canoeing, not canoeing type, it's a beautiful like outing in the river Brahmaputra, and we get to see the dolphins there. And the dolphins don't come out. These kind of sightings are very, very unique. You would see them, you would hear them, and they're so fast that before even you start, like think of clicking, they go down. But yeah, that's an incredible journey you finish off. So if you combine the snow leopard trip with Grand India, so one is a moderate pace trip, and then you have the fast trip, which is the Grand India. And if you're doing snow leopard and Nepal, Bhutan, it's all about the mountain culture and lots and lots of wildlife. And again, if you're doing Grand India and then going to Nepal, Bhutan, that is also amazing, because from there you fly back home from Bangkok. So altogether, if we combine these, one of the two together, it will be more like a 24 or 25 days of trip. So if you can spend that time, you can do the combination, so that to see the rest of the animals, you again don't need to fly back here at a go. You can finish it, and you can come with an empty mind. But trust me, when you will go back, it will be loaded with stories. No matter which trip you are combining or which are the single trip you are doing, you will go back with a lot of good memories and wonderful sightings for sure.